Greetings, friends of the universe. Dear ones, I am the Archangel Michael. I say again, you are in a great game, in which getting back to the starting point is very easy. But as you watch yourself and take more care not to repeat mistakes, you can move forward. The most that happens is to go back to the beginning of that level, that's all. So today I'm going to talk about another subject here, which I've been trying to talk about for a long time, which is all about forgiveness. Many will say, that subject again. For it is my brothers. But I do not know if you have noticed, which is the subject that I have insisted on most, and many continue to struggle to understand what they have to do. So I will explain one more time. Perhaps this is the last one. Because really repeating the same thing all the time is tiring for those who are on the right path, and I will stop applying other ideas. But unfortunately, as I have access to all of your hearts, I realize that my words are falling in the wind. You listen, but you don't practice. So today I'm going to try to explain it in a deeper way, so that you can understand how everything works. First, to start this topic, I need to comment on frequency again. Let's say that the most classic example, which I can tell you, is the pendulum of the clock. It swings at a certain frequency, so many pendulums, so many movements for a certain time. So take this concept as a base. Everything in the entire universe has frequency, because everything is made up of the smallest particle in the universe, which comes together within the consciousness of divine wisdom to form the material things that you have, including yourself. So everything that exists in the universe, everything has a frequency. So if that frequency is very low, that practically with the naked eye, you don't see that nothing happens there, everything becomes very solid. And the opposite end too, the higher the frequency of vibration, the less you can see. So in the same way, we will make a parallel with the feelings. There is a list of feelings by frequency, which we can also call vibration. My brothers, I am not very concerned here with concepts of your physics. I make the analogy I want, so that the vast majority can understand. So the feelings also have vibration, frequency. Love is the feeling of the highest vibration in existence. And then we can even share this feeling a little. Unconditional love is first on the list. So yes, love is divided in several ways. Because you love in many ways, but that's not the focus. Let us understand that love is one of the most vibrating feelings, so that being who loves a lot, who respects others, who is always ready to help, that is, always tries to practice love, he is always vibrating loudly, because it is the feeling that he vibrates all the time. So now let's talk about a list of feelings, extremely low, where we can say that the opposite of this feeling of love is hate, and that it has a very low vibration. And then we can also put on that list anger, envy, hurt, feeling of revenge. All the feelings that are similar to those I mentioned. Everyone has a very low vibration. So if you are people who are vibrating these feelings, you vibrate low. I mentioned the scale again. You all have a scale, where the feelings that you vibrate high go to one side, and those that vibrate low go to the other. So it is important to stress that it is not a single time that you say something wrong, that it will make you vibrant low-frequency beings. We need the context of the scale, because you are not machines, you are not robots, you have feelings. So if someone tells you something you don't like, you feel sad, you suffer, and at that moment your vibration is low. But what about the general context? You are in the context a person who vibrates loudly. Then that feeling came and went away, and your balance continues to vibrate positively. So this is the general context. I hope you understand. So let's talk now about forgiveness. Understanding what forgiveness is, there is no definition here. Each interprets what the other says, what the other does, in their own way. Someone can say to the other, you are very annoying. and this other understands that it was a joke and doesn't pay attention to what was said, there will already be another person who will hear this and feel extremely hurt because he does not agree that he is boring. So the way that each interprets what the other does is different. So this way there is no rule. Everyone will feel what they are prepared to feel. So we will always insist on the one who processes what is done to him in the most extreme way possible, because that way I can encompass all the others. Then someone, person A, received an evil, an injustice. It doesn't matter what it is. That hurt her deeply, and then she can say, I never want to see person B again, who was the one who caused the situation in my life. For me she died. And that feeling is kept, that hurt, that anger, is stored in the heart and in your mind. So this situation can have many variants. That person, unfortunately, you are obliged to see him every day. Because he is a neighbor, he is a co-worker, he is someone in your house. It doesn't matter. You see him every day. So that hurt, that resentment, gets a little more every day. Because every time you look at a person, it all comes back to your mind, and you carry that hate a little more. So it grows over time. If that person who did something to you disappeared from your life, you can even forget. Because that feeling will not be fed. It happened, you kept it, but you didn't feed it. So as you can see, there are different degrees of the same feeling. So notice, I have a person A who has that feeling of hate, fed daily. And there is a person C who also had the feeling of hatred, but who is not fed. The feeding of that feeling. Remembering, hatred is a feeling of very low vibration. Then the remembrance causes more negative energy to reach your heart and mind each day. I can say that the consequences of this are numerous. Depression, sadness, illness. Because your vibration is getting lower and lower, because you can't forgive. On the contrary, you feed that hate every day. Then your body as a whole starts to vibrate that. Because you look at the person and remember everything. Everything comes back to your mind. That anger only increases. You feed the disease inside your heart. Very well. If I say to you that the fifth dimension is a dimension where there is only love, that feeling that is inside, being fed like a pet, a little monster, cannot go there. Because that feeling is incompatible with the fifth dimension. That's where the problem comes from. When I speak here, forgive, the vast majority immediately replies, oh, I will not do that, I will not demean myself to that. Really, asking for forgiveness is not easy, forgiving even more. So when you listen, I'm here saying, forgive. That person immediately thinks like this. Oh, I can't, that person hurt me too much, I can't forgive him. Very well. So if you are already making this decision, you are collaborating to have a very difficult transition to the fifth dimension. No, I'm not saying that you won't pass, but it will not be an easy passage, because you will have to get rid of it all. At some point you will, because that feeling is not going to get there. It will stay here in the third dimension. So what can this entail? That your own path will make you face to face with whom you have to forgive. And you will have to take action. Wait for it. Because life itself will put the person in front of you again. So that you have the understanding that the time has come, it is now, forgive. Then you keep saying, no, I won't forgive, she be damned. A few more times it will come your way, until you understand that there is no way out, you will have to forgive. Now I'm just talking here, but the situations that life itself will put you through are not going to be any good. It will not be simply bringing the person in front of you and saying, no, I do not forgive you. And the person leaves and leaves. The situations will become more and more interesting. But how so? I'm gonna explain. Your own walk will make you depend on that person for something. That's impossible. No, it is not impossible. because that lesson you didn't learn. Then the universe begins to force you to learn. So that person will have to bring you something that you really want, but that exactly because you did not forgive him, that will not reach you. Think about it, and if you keep insisting that you will not forgive, it will become more and more difficult for you, not for her. But she hurt me. I'm talking about you here, I'm not talking about her. I'm not talking about her, I'm talking about you. I always have to stop at one side of the story, and for now I'm here, you who were hurt. So more and more, you will find yourself close to that person. And for some reason, you're going to have to forgive her. There are N ways in the universe to do this. So my brothers, take the chance today. Because each time, the situation will become more difficult for you. Because not forgiving is not loving. You are saying no to unconditional love. Have you ever stopped to think what unconditional love is? It is simply to love. No matter what the person did to you, you love him. This is unconditional love. I understand that for you here, it is still very complicated to apply this love. But at least don't be angry, don't nourish, don't feed that feeling inside of you. Because the moment you forgive, the feeling explodes. As long as forgiveness is from the heart. In this case that I am pointing out, it would be the following. It would be you forgive, and the next day you see that person, you just don't feel anything. On the contrary, you say, wow, how light I am. Let each one of us go on his way. Okay, you didn't feel any low vibration feeling towards that person anymore. Then your negative balance starts to have another weight. So notice, my brothers, I'm not talking here forgive and ask for forgiveness, like words in the wind. It is difficult, I understand, ask for forgiveness or forgive face to face. Ours then is out of context. But I can tell you something, my brothers. There are ways and ways to ask for forgiveness. Remember, you are all connected. So if you are a person you harmed indirectly, because many times you have not harmed directly, you have harmed indirectly. At the time of forgiveness, the request for forgiveness, mentalize the person, it is enough. And make sure that person will suddenly remember you, and you can forgive him or not. But then the problem is no longer yours, the problem passed to the other side. I'm still on this side. Then that's it. You can make the request for forgiveness or mentally forgive, as long as it is done from the heart. And make sure the person on the other side is going to receive it. Somehow, you will appear in her mind, and she will feel like forgiving you or accepting your forgiveness. So do that, ask forgiveness from those you hurt. Forgive those who hurt you. There is no point in feeding these feelings of hurt, hatred, anger, revenge. Revenge then. Revenge is an attraction for your own walk, for everything you are wishing for the other. Exactly that, when you plan revenge against someone. You plan, you architect, you mount revenge, and that person falls. Make sure that in the future, you will receive exactly the same. I wouldn't even say, you'll receive in a much worse way what you did. Because that's how life is. You plant, and you reap. You planted revenge, you will reap. It is not punishment, it is sowing and harvesting. So what's the use of revenge? You may even feel fulfilled. I got revenge. Very well, then wait for the return, because it will come. Everything you do against each other comes back against you. There is no way, there is no other way for you to learn the pain of what you have done. I am not talking about physical pain. I am talking about a pain in the feeling, so that you feel what you have caused. Nothing goes blank. I already said that here. Many, extremely thoughtful. So that's what I've been saying to you. Ask forgiveness from everyone you hurt. Can't you remember everyone? I also believe not. But if you are asking with all your heart, your Akashic Master will make that request for forgiveness sweep your soul path, and go handing a letter of apology to each of the ones you hurt. And everyone will receive, all. Because in your Akasha, it is marked who you hurt, who you killed. It's all there. Then your Master Akashic will deliver a letter to each one of your request for forgiveness. And if this request for forgiveness was made with a lot of love, with a lot of feeling, with regret, to each one that is delivered, it will be less of a burden on your negative balance. Because you learned your lesson, you understood what you did. Do not understand with this that everything is forgiven by the universe, but I can tell you that what you have done in your past lives has been mitigated over time. You are not paying now for things you did millennia ago, and that has been eliminated over time, but the feeling of forgiveness is lacking. So that feeling, when done with courage from the heart, works, and you get rid of an immense burden. Very well. Likewise forgive. A letter with your forgiveness will be given to each of those who hurt you. So my brothers, do this, do it several times. But how many times? You always want to have an exact thing. There is not. I cannot say here, like 10 times, like 20, 30, 40. It will depend on you. If you lit it and the next day it was still, I think I have to light another one. Light as many as your heart asks. Because every time you ask for forgiveness and you forgive, more cleansing is done in your heart. More cleaning is done on your walk. And here's a great instruction now. I forgiven. How is the person on the other side? She can accept your forgiveness or not. She can understand. What I did to you was no reason for you to be so hurt. So let's leave everything as it is. And don't accept your forgiveness. You see. Now let's think about that person. What did she do to you? Did you really have all the intention that you realized? Because if she had hurt you, and she will also receive everything that she did to you. So it depends on whether there is a misunderstanding or a real thing. But coming back, if this person accepts that you understood that he had no reason to harm you, or that he also acknowledged that he did know to do well, and you both understand each other, forgive each other, good for the world, good for you, good for the universe. Because those two souls have zeroed in on your questions. Now you have forgiven, and the other souls say, no, now I don't want to. Then what? Her problem, you are doing your part. You are forgiving her for what she did to you. Now if she doesn't accept it, if she keeps insisting on what hurt her, then the problem is now with her. It's not up to you anymore. You forgave, it's over. The problem for you, it's over. And then I will put a little more complicated situation. You forgave it, for you it's over. But the next day, she will start to instigate you again. What do? That's where my brothers are. All that hateful charge comes back again. Or you just say, I don't want to know about it anymore. That's finished for me. And turn your back and leave. She may even insist, but there will come a day that she will get tired, and that becomes her daily lesson. It becomes that lesson that you will live each day, having to listen to it talking in your ear, provoking you, and you simply turning your back and leaving. Until one day, she will realize that it doesn't matter to her anymore, and then she gets tired. Or simply, isn't that a good reason for you to think about changing jobs, or changing apartments, residence, changing friends, maybe? Remember, there is always one to apply the lessons. So this may be the moment when the universe is telling you, you need to get out of this environment, it's time to grow, and you just go away and get something much better. Very well. So I set an example that you forgave. Now you asked for forgiveness. You hurt, and you actually realized that you were wrong, and you asked for forgiveness for everything you did. But that sincere forgiveness from the bottom of my heart, the other person may or may not forgive you. It also remains her problem. You did your part, you asked for forgiveness, you acknowledged your mistake, and you say it all to her. I recognized that I made a mistake. I made a lot of mistakes. I'm here asking for forgiveness. Great, you also got rid of that weight. Now if she will forgive you or not, the problem becomes hers, not yours anymore. So my brothers, to close this issue, and as I said, it will be the last time I am talking about it. Forgive and ask for forgiveness does not have to be face to face. But there are people who are in your past that you don't even know how to find them anymore. So it becomes difficult. So just mentalize that person. In general, ask forgiveness from everyone who has passed through your life and forgive in the same way. In this way you are guaranteeing that the things you did to the others during your life path, and the evil that the other did to you, and that you kept, so that feeling of yours is the group of feelings that weighs most in the path of a soul. So you want to come this way, you want to evolve. So get rid of those feelings. Do this, forgive and ask for forgiveness. And you will see how it looks like a truck got off your back. Life will be much happier, much more productive, much more constructive. Because depending on the degree of that little animal that is inside your heart, you may be walking at a snail's pace, because the weight is too big. And when you get rid of that weight, you start walking normally. So think about it, but think very well. And it is no use coming to tell me that you have forgiven, but you are still angry. Was there really forgiveness? Of course not, you forgave lip service. I forgive you. But in the heart the hurt is still there, the blemish is still there. So forgiveness is taking everything in your heart and throwing else away. And tomorrow when you see the same person, you will feel nothing. You are not obliged to love her, but if you do not reject her, it is already a form of love. No one needs to fall in love with the one who forgave. Just don't have feelings of low vibration in relation to it. This is already a form of love. Understand this. Only the feeling has to be removed from your heart, and she becomes a person that you have never met. A person of the world that if you pass by her on the street, nothing will come to your memory. Here comes she, that's cool, and go away. It will not bring you any feeling, no memory. Because as long as it brings back the memory of the act, it's over, you haven't fully forgiven. If you look at the person and that scene, it all comes back in front of you. Forgiveness hasn't been done yet. So, redo it as many times as necessary. I am the Archangel Michael. I'm here trying to show you how easy it is to walk to the fifth dimension. It is enough that you do the exercises at home. Thank you for watching. We love you so much.